Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and normally on this channel we make videos answering publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answer they need from an employment attorney. But today I'm adding to our How to Approach an Attorney playlist, or our How to Approach an Attorney podcast. This series is, I think, very important because a lot of people have trouble obtaining representation in this field. That is in part because we don't have enough employment attorneys in this country, and certainly not in many states. But also, it is in part because people don't know how to communicate with an attorney about a potential claim, and a lot of claims get lost in the gap of understanding that exists between attorneys and potential clients. So that is what this playlist is for. And I think this video is pretty important because there's a lot of attorneys who don't think potential clients should negotiate with them in terms of the retainer agreement. And I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I say I don't agree with that, but frankly, I'm generally personally very disinterested in negotiating. And I'll be upfront. Like, people call me up and be like, hey, I want to hire you for this case, and I really want your help. I've seen your prior cases, or seen some of your work in the press, or big fan of YouTube channel, whatever it is. And we'll look at the case and we'll evaluate the case and we'll say, okay, yeah, we would make you an offer of representation and here's the terms. And people will be like, well, thank you for the offer, thank you for the vote of confidence, but I'd rather you just do it for 20%. Sure, you would. Doesn't surprise me that you'd rather I just do it for 20%. But I'm not interested in negotiating. And I do kind of take that. And I've said it to people. People be like, well, but I could get it cheaper over there. And I'm like, yeah, I opened this conversation telling you that there are much cheaper attorneys out there. We're not McDonald's. You can hire McDonald's. You might be happy with McDonald's. McDonald's can be really good sometimes. I enjoy some chicken nuggets. They're delicious, right? Sometimes McDonald's is the answer to a given problem, to a given question, right? I'm just letting you know that's not what I'm offering. It's not what we're not purveyors of chicken nuggets in the legal world, right? It's just not the same thing. So often I am not particularly interested in negotiating, but I do think attorneys generally should be open to that conversation. And I will have that conversation. I'll hear people out because I think it's, one, just kind of a sign of respect. Like, listen, am I ultimately generally taking a stance of this is my offer, take it or leave it? Yeah, I am. There's a lot of firms who probably shouldn't be. And also, I need to hear you out as a sign of respect. Like, you're not powerless. And if I do something that renders you to have less agency while trying to help you with workplace discrimination, workplace sexual harassment, I'm kind of part of the problem. So, like, it's important I hear you out, and I might still say no thank you because that's my agency. I still need to hear you out. So this is a quick guide on how to potentially approach negotiating your retainer agreement in a way that will not ruffle feathers and will not potentially lose you your offer of representation from an attorney that you actually do want to work with, right? So I got a little script here. If you see me glancing down, it's because I've been jotting down. It's been a couple weeks. I've been jotting things down from various people's thoughts and like my own experiences. First and foremost, always try, right? If like there's a lot of attorneys, and I've heard them. I've heard attorneys who I know are starving for cases. Starving, like maybe not enough money to like make office rent, like firms like that, right? And potential client with a good, solid, valuable claim calls them up. The attorney's like, oh, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need that, I'm going to da 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 da. And they're just saying things because they hope they can get more. So I would tell you, yeah, don't be afraid to push back. Be like, hey, I think I appreciate you having an interest in my case. I am interested in working with you, and I appreciate you making an offer. But that seems like a lot. Seems like a lot. I'm not sure that I'm going to necessarily, like, I'm going to have to think about it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to end up working with you at that particular offer. It's a lot. And a lot of these attorneys would just be like, okay, I can do better. I can do better. And like, there's a give and take, and you have a conversation about it, and you end up at a mutually agreeable set of terms, right? So yes, I absolutely, without question, encourage you, always try. Anybody who says you shouldn't try, anybody who's offended because you try to negotiate, that's probably not going to be a collaborative representation where you're working with your counsel towards a shared end, right? That's probably not necessarily someone who's going to view you as equals. Like, I'll hear people out. I'm generally not gonna agree, but like, I'll hear you out because it's respectful to hear you out, right? Do negotiate respectfully, right? A lot of people, a surprising number of people, will say things like, listen, what you do is just words, man. You're gonna call them up and you're gonna settle my case and you're gonna make tons of money. Okay. So if it's just words, what I do is just words. Why do you need me? All you got to do is pick up the phone and you get fat stacks of cash. That's what you're saying. Pick up the phone, my friend. Pick it up. Go ahead. Let me know. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't just words? Oh. Yeah. Yeah. It's a complex playbook born of literal decades of practice that is not taught in law school, almost as far as I'm aware, anywhere, because law school is functionally useless for litigation attorneys. It doesn't actually impart to them any knowledge about how to practice law, how to litigate in this field, or how to run a law firm. Yeah. Yeah, and the only way to get this knowledge is to join a firm that actually does it or do it yourself. Guess it's not just words. Guess it's depth of knowledge and experience and just repetitions, like thousands of repetitions of bringing the same kind of case over and over and over again so that you can be better honed at helping people in your narrow practice field. Oh, okay. It's not just words anymore. Okay, cool. We can move on. Okay. There's people, and this is interesting. People will call me up and be like, hey, I really want to hire you. Thank you for that offer of representation. If you cut it in half, I'll take you up on it. Tempting offer. I'm going to have to decline, but thank you. Thanks for the call. 2 days goes by. They call me again. Hey, I know. You made me the offer of representation. I called you up the other day. And I asked you to, cut the offer in half. I want a better deal. Yeah, I remember. We take notes. We have a system. Okay, so yeah, did you think about that? Think about what? Well, I wanted you to take the offer, like half. I wanted you to take half what you originally had quoted me. Yeah, I said no. I told you no. I wasn't interested in doing that. Well, it's been a couple days. I thought you might rethink it. I didn't. Let me let you go. Good luck to you. I hope that you get a big win here, right? And a couple of more days goes by, or even a couple of months, and they call you up again, and they're like, hey, remember me? I do. Yeah, I have notes on you in my system. Yeah, we spent, looks like, half an hour helping you. We talked about representation. It didn't work out. You made some follow-up calls. We declined those as well. We weren't able to work out a retainer agreement. We weren't able to come to terms. So, like, we wish you well. I hope the case is going great. Well, I still want to hire you. Okay. Well, we'd have to look at the case now to see what you've done in the intervening months, to see if you've harmed the case, to see if nothing's been done, which can be a form of harm all in and of its own. But if you need us to review the case, we will. We might need to change our original offer because, like, the case may have gotten worse, but we're happy to do that if that's something you're interested in and if you want us to look at it. But, like, we'd have to review things again. And the person would be like, well, no, listen, I don't want the original offer to go up. I want you to cut it in half. okay, so sir, sir, we've had this conversation with you 3 times now. We're not interested, and you've now hit that magic number 3. So what we're gonna do is add you to a do not call list because you like calling us up and wasting our time. And if you're calling me up and asking me a question, like a specific question about like the case or about the representation, something meaningful, I'm gonna try to answer that for you, right? But if you're like calling me up 3 times and wasting, 20 minutes a call, 60 minutes of my life, just being like, but halfsies, you're gonna get that do not call list stamp because you're a time waster, and ain't nobody got time for you. I'm sorry, bad things happen to you, and I made you an offer to try to help you. You wanted a better deal, and you went looking for a better deal, and apparently you didn't find one. I get it. It happens, and I'm not gonna hold that against you. But in the 3rd time, where you're like, halfsies, please, I am gonna stop letting you waste my life, right? So be careful with how many times you try the same thing over again. That can really turn attorneys off. And it can frankly just get you labeled as like not a real potential anymore. Your case might be fantastic, but if you, the human being attached to the case, is too annoying or too problematic to deal with, or just can't be negotiated with, like there's no reason why a firm would continue to like put resources toward trying to get that case to represent you, right? Like it's not going to work out. And God forbid it actually does work out and you come to some kind of deal for the retainer, it's probably going to be hard representing you because you're not communicating in all that much of good faith. Like you said, hey, I'd like you to cut that retainer in half. And I say, yeah, I'm never going to do that. And you just keep circling back and having that conversation over and over and over. If I was the kind of human being who just, I used to know a guy who would do this to me. There's another attorney who would just keep repeating the same arguments over and over and over again. And like, I think it was really jarring one day. I was like, bro, you stupid? He gets really mad, right? He's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, I'm keeping a tally here. This is the 7th time you said the same thing. So, you think I'm stupid or you're stupid. Because that's not a compelling argument. You repeating yourself. There's definitely reasons why in the courtroom you repeat yourself to get your point across. Juries don't necessarily listen. But here in this room, 2 attorneys, you just keep saying the same thing over again. I'm not a jury. I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm listening to you so closely that I'm taking notes. And I'm keeping a tally of how many times you said the exact same phrase, which wasn't compelling the 1st time and still isn't compelling the 7th time. This guy was hopping mad, right? And he's like, listen, my friend, nothing you're saying is compelling. And saying it 7 times makes it less so, right? And the same goes in negotiating your retainer. Like, repeating yourself over and over and over again is not a persuasive tactic. It's not going to work out well for you, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, number 4. You should do this for free. This is very common. Adult human beings come to me in this field. And it's an interesting field because we work primarily on a contingency, right? Primarily a percentage of what we win for you. The client's risk tends to be very low compared to the risk the firm takes on. Firms will spend 20, 30, 40,000 more. I've seen cases 80, 90, 100,000 with the firm invested, right? And the client's investment will be very low in terms of money, right? And they'll say like, oh, you should take this for free. No contingency. You just take it for free. Interesting perspective. I do believe in social justice. I am a big fan of that. But if I start taking cases for free, this firm will not exist in short order. And then because it no longer exists, it will stop helping people. It will stop being the giant whack-a-mole machine that it is, running around just whacking people who engage in workplace discrimination and workplace sexual harassment, right? So you're telling me I should do it for free. Do you build people houses for free? Because it's a similar investment in terms of how much money we put in the case, and it's somewhat similar in terms of the number of hours of labor that go into a case that proceeds on to federal litigation. Do you build people houses for free? You don't? You should. There's homeless people. Don't you want them to have homes? Well, I mean, you're not a bad guy, are you? I mean, this is social justice. You want people to have homes. Where's the homes you build? Oh, you don't build homes. Okay. Do a soup kitchen. Yeah. Are you put a couple hundred hours a year in the soup kitchen? Do you grow food for the soup kitchen? Stocking up the pantry? What are you doing? Humanitarian aid? Like, where's your hundreds of hours to help people? Oh, you don't? You don't at all? Well, it's funny that you want me to. That's weird. I spend a lot of time helping people. I picked a career where I help people. Generally, we really only profit if we actually help someone. So where's your hundreds of hours of helping people for free and pouring your resources and pouring your funds into helping people? Where is it? You think I should do it for free? Not a compelling retainer negotiation tactic. You look like an ass. Probably you are an ass. Number 5, and this is classic. I'm just reading it because I have notes on this, and it's a little bit. Okay. So there's two loosely related things people try to engage in. Hey, I have a big social media following. I can get you a lot of attention. Thanks for that. Or, hey, I know a lot of people. I can get you a lot of clients. Thanks for that. Those are not compelling things. Those are not. Listen, we've talked about social on this platform before. Like when you say you have a lot of social followers, probably not. Probably not, because people probably wouldn't be crossing you. If you had a lot of social followers, you wouldn't probably just have a day job where you'd be the victim of workplace sexual harassment or workplace discrimination, right? So like if you come to me, you're like, I have 100,000 Twitter followers. Okay, so you have 80,000 bots. Cool. Not meaningful. If you're like, I have 500,000 TikTok followers. Yeah, it does nothing for me. I don't care about that at all. But I'll let them know about you. Cool. Yeah, thanks for the 30-second commercial that's going to expose me to ethical considerations with the Bar Association because it was improperly done as per Bar Association guidelines. Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you for imperiling my career. No, these are not compelling things. And social is not really that meaningful. And you're going to immediately be like, but the fringe cases. There's cases that go viral. Yeah. And those cases tend to be managed by professionals with like campaigns that make them go viral. And we work with people like that. Right. And you may notice we're not particularly interested in being Facebook famous or like Insta famous or like TikTok. I mean, if it's even around next year, if it doesn't get banned, I don't think it's a good format for us to impart information to people who need help because it's short format, as I understand it, right? And Twitter isn't a thing anymore. It's ancient. The only people on it are like the mainstream media, and is anyone else on it? I don't know if I know anyone else on Twitter. Like I don't go on Twitter. I'm not even sure if we bump out content to Twitter. And sitting here not knowing is fine to me. Like I don't care about it. It's not a meaningful platform. May have been at one time, but it's probably not now. It's been driven into the ground, right? So like that's not useful, and it's not probably a negotiating tactic. If you get an attorney who thinks it is a negotiating tactic, that attorney might be stupid. But this is just my opinion. You can disagree. You can think your 80,000 TikTok people are like the sun, the moon, and the stars. And if they make you happy, I'm thrilled for you. If they make you money, I am also thrilled for you. I'm not into it. And in terms of clients, I'll get you clients. I'll get you clients. Yeah, I don't need you running around soliciting for me. There are ethical guidelines around that, and I don't want to breach them at all. So don't solicit business from me. If somebody approaches you and you're like, oh yeah, what do you think of this attorney, Vince White? You think I should talk to him about my case? And you're like, yeah, I had a good experience with him. That's cool. I appreciate that. But don't run around in your community and be like, hire this attorney. Like, don't do that. Don't do that for me. That's not you helping me. That's you trying to harm me, believe it or not. So this is just a couple guidelines. Definitely do negotiate. Just be respectful how you do it and be realistic. Talk about actual things and have an understanding of what the firm is bringing to the table, what they're fronting, what they're covering, how many hours they're putting in the case, what they're actually promising you, what kind of percentages they're looking for, if they're asking you for money up front. Like, understand everything, understand all the moving pieces, and then have a realistic conversation about if you guys can work out a deal that works for you. That is wisdom. Doing that is wise. Just be respectful about it and understand some of these basic things. And I hope you work out a deal with your attorney. I hope it's amazing. I hope they're the best attorney ever. And I hope they help you. And I hope you fuck that employer up for what they did and you get paid. And everyone's happy and you ride into the sunset with your attorney holding hands, singing, "We got paid." That would make me really happy. Like, I hope somebody someday posts on this video. Like, I can't talk about my case because of this or that, but like, my attorney was great and this video helped me negotiate my deal with my attorney and like, it went great. That would make me so happy. That would make me so happy. All right. Like, subscribe, comment down below if this video was helpful. It does help me to help more people just like you. Remember, almost everybody works. Not everybody wins.